Greetings, fellow Arrow fans. We're looking at Arrow Season 6 now continues on with the Thanatos Guild. The episode begins with a flashback of Thea talking with Malcolm Merlin. Present day, individuals from the League of Assassins accumulate to talk about the replacement of Malcolm as top of the League. Nissa, who's been outsider from the League, is covered with a portion of her countrymen, and they start battling with the lady in control. At Arrow HQ, Thea's messing with William about Oliver's previous dread of the dim. In the wake of messing with them, Oliver Postigel decided to talk about who's going to wear the Green Arrow ensemble. Dinah and Curtis are at Renee's condo attempting to discover which adjourner cops are on Diaz's finance. Thea and Roy are driving when their vehicle is assaulted by a rebel individual from the League. Nissa dives in to spare the pair. Nissa comes back to Air HQ with Thea and Roy. They uncovered to Oliver, Diggle, and Felicity that Malcolm had recently enlisted supporters led by Athena before his takeoff, and those are individuals in quest for Thea, thinking she has ownership of the guide they're searching for. Nissa cautions that regardless of whether Thea and Roy leave Star City, the society will keep following them down except if they hand over the guide. Stressed for security of herself and Roy, Thea consents to go with Nissa and take a stab at finding said map. Dinah's at the area of a manslaughter. The Captain Hill dubiously appears and excuses Dinah from the case. Dinah messages Curtis to look at Hill and check whether there's any proof she's one of the messy cops. Instead, they track down a previous League part who knows the whereabouts of the guide. She draws the guide for the pair. This advises Thea to call her sibling and team member for reinforcement as they close in on the guide's area. Nissa, Thea, Oliver, Roy, and Diggle emerge on a stockroom that's clearly fixed with booby traps. In the wake of passing a couple of the snares, Nissa finds the guide caught in a safe underneath the concrete. She uses a projectile to get it out. However, when she does, Athena and the gathering of Tuxo violate repel from the roof. A battle breaks out between the two gatherings as Thea attempts to escape with the guide. While Oliver, Diggle, and Nissa can make snappy work of the associates, Athena can jump Thea and Roy both down. As she's remaining over them, agonizing, she's shot with a bolt, permitting the entire group to get away. As they rendezvous back at Arrow HQ, Nessa offers to take the safe and discover how to open it up herself, yet Thea persuades her to remain with the group. They task Felicity with hacking the safe. Dinah and Curtis are in the police division attempting to uncover progressively Earth on Captain Hill. Curtis sidesteps security of the proof room while Dinah goes inside to take a gander at proof while Curtis remains outside to keep watch. Sooner rather than later, the cop strolls by seeing Curtis. After he ignorant, Curtis starts he's lost and persuades the cop to give him a visit through the police office. Back at Arrow HQ, all converses with Nissa about their past orchestrated marriage. As they're talking, Felicity declares that she found a break for the safe. Thea puts the code and opens the safe. When she takes the guide out, the gathering understands the bit of material is clear. Attempting to check whether it's utilizing shrouded ink, Felicity holds the guide over a Bunsen burner to check whether the ink will accutate. It gives off an impression of being an impasse. Roy and Thea are out in the corridor discussing their future together. Roy communicates his instability of Thea's appearing failure to leave Star City. Dinah and Curtis are at New Teamer HQ inspecting the proof they took from the police headquarters, yet can't make any clear associations. Oliver is attempting to persuade Thea to take Roy and leave Star City, asserting that he, along with the remainder of the group, will shield the couple from Athena. As they're talking, Diggle wants to eliminate the kin that they may have gotten an area on Athena's refuge. The gathering gets ready and heads to the area, where Thea coaxes Athena out by presenting the guide. Athena approaches Thea, uncovering that the guide's ink won't seem except if it interacts with blood. Police scares the area that their eyes fixed with C4, and Roy takes a shot at deactivating it. As he's ready to deactivate it, Athena and Thea battle. Ness is ready to shoot Athena, who's then ready to get away. As they're holding the guide, Thea looks down to see her blood has spilled into the material, enacting the ink. Felicity breaks down the guide and discovers that Malcolm utilized first-rate innovation for the ink to show just if certain proteins from Thea's blood were available. Taking a gander at the guide, Ness understands the guide prompts 3 diverse Lazarus pits. Curtis is at the police station, and he moves toward Nick, the cop that gave Curtis a visit, to ask him out in the town. Scratch concurs, and they choose a date. Dinah sees Curtis and approaches him. She illuminates him that she discovered that Captain Hill has discharged the entirety of the vertigo and the proof storage for Ricardo Diaz to sell. Thea chooses she needs to go with Nissa to decimate the Lazarus pits, but Roy consents to go with. Nissa repeals her marriage with Oliver, and he says goodbye to Thea and Roy as they leave Star City. So let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. This is the final episode of Era to feature Willa Holland as a series regular. The title of this episode comes from the name of another group of League of Assassins, which was led by Malcolm until Athena took charge. Thanatos is a Greek word for death, aligning Malcolm's goal to cheat death. Going to look for Malcolm's map, Felicity has weather traps later on the location and housing and are more comparable to Raiders or Temple of Doom, referencing two films in the Indiana Jones franchise. The later tells Felicity is more like Raiders, before triggering a trap that shoots arrows, similar to a scene in the aforementioned film. The cape Rory wears is a callback to him wearing a cap in the New 52 Red Hood and the Outlaws series and the DC Rebirth comics. Felicity makes a reference to the Hellraiser franchise due to the map's box's resemblance to the Lament configuration. Chris mentioned that Diana's murder board is making him feel very Alan J. Pakula, referencing the notable film director, writer, and producer. When Roy and Felicity are trying to figure out how to defuse the bomb, Roy suggests, I can freeze it. I've done that before. This refers to the episode The Calm, when Roy freezes a bomb that's about to detonate underneath Rocket's arena, as per Felicity's instructions. At the end of Oliver's last scene together, Oliver says, I'm going to miss you so much, to which Theo responds, You'll be with me the whole time. This mirrors their first scene together in the pilot, where after Oliver and Theo reunited for 5 years, Theo tells Oliver, I miss you so much, and he replies, You were with me the whole time. Aww. So now finally let's take a look at a goof. When figuring out the first two numbers of the Fibonacci sequence to unlock the safe, Nissa says 10 and 13, as 1013 was the year the Guild of Assassins was founded. However, 10 is not in the sequence. 8 is the number before 13. Oops. So I think this episode is pretty interesting, and yeah, it's a shame that this is Thea's last episode. So yeah. So overall, I give the Thanatos Guild 4 arrowheads out of 5. Well, anyway, tune in as we to the next episode, Brothers in Arms. So until then, in the words of Oliver Queen, you have failed this city.